Charles Spencer Charlie Chaplin was a British comedy actor and director. Chaplin was particularly successful during the early and mid-period of Hollywood films. He laid the foundation for modern comedy movies, and his portrayal of a character wearing a bowler hat and formal attire became an iconic representation of comedy films. Many artists have since tried to imitate his style. During the silent film era, Chaplin was considered one of the most talented and influential figures. He wrote, directed, acted in, and even distributed his own films. He began his career as a child actor in the British theatre and continued working in the entertainment industry for over 70 years until his passing at the age of 88. Charlie Chaplin has become a symbol of culture. Chaplin was born into a family of performers in the Walworth area of London, both of his parents being artists. At the age of 5, in 1894, Chaplin made his stage debut at a London theatre, replacing his mother. During his childhood, he fell seriously ill and spent several weeks in bed. His mother used to entertain him by acting out events happening outside the window. In 1903, he obtained his first formal role, playing a newsboy in Sherlock Holmes. He later joined a circus troupe, and at the age of 9, along with his brother, he joined Fred Karno's comedy troupe and played a clown. At the age of 13, he traveled to the United States with the troupe and decided to stay in America. Charlie Chaplin's breakthrough came when he was discovered by producer Mack Sennett, leading to a contract with Keystone Studios. At the time, Keystone Studios already had a roster of famous stars, but Chaplin quickly outshone them and achieved the remarkable feat of making 35 films in a single year. Chaplin's first film was Making a Living, but it was his second film, Kid Auto Races at Venice, that changed his destiny. In this film, he created the iconic tramp character, dressed in baggy pants, oversized shoes, a tight jacket, and a round-crowned bowler hat. This character with a little mustache became one of the most classic comedy figures in film history. Starting in 1915, Chaplin began writing, directing, and acting in his own films, even taking on the roles of producer and editor. Later, he joined SNA Studios and produced films like The Immigrant and Easy Street. In 1918, he and his brother formed their own studio in Los Angeles, where he gathered talents like Douglas Fairbanks. On October 23, 1918, at the age of 29, Charlie Chaplin married 16-year-old Mildred Harris, a star in the Oz series. The marriage was arranged after Mildred Harris falsely claimed she was pregnant. They had a child, but he died in infancy, and the couple divorced in 1920. It wasn't until 1923 that Chaplin made his first film for United Artists, titled A Woman of Paris. Subsequently, The Gold Rush, 1925, and The Circus, 1927, won him Academy Awards. Over the next 35 years, Chaplin created many enduring masterpieces, including short comedies like A Dog's Life and Payday, as well as feature-length films such as The Kid and City Lights. His silent film classics also included The Kid, A Woman of Paris, The Gold Rush, and The Circus. In preparation for The Gold Rush, the 35-year-old Charlie Chaplin had a romantic relationship with 16-year-old Lita Gray, and they married on November 26, 1924. They had 2 sons, Charles Chaplin Jr. and Sidney Earl Chaplin. They divorced in 1928, and Chaplin had to pay Lita Gray a record-breaking $825,000. After the advent of sound in films, Chaplin made 2 of his most famous silent films, City Lights, 1931, and Modern Times, 1936. City Lights is considered one of Chaplin's most perfect blends of comedy and emotion. From 1932 to 1940, Chaplin had a romantic and professional relationship with actress Paulette Goddard. He discovered her and cast her as the female lead in Modern Times and The Great Dictator. James Agee wrote in 1949 that the ending of The Great Dictator contained one of the greatest performances in the history of film. In 1942, Chaplin divorced his wife Paulette Goddard after 10 years of marriage. She received a significant divorce settlement. Shortly thereafter, Chaplin met Una O'Neill, the daughter of playwright Eugene O'Neill. At the time, Chaplin was 54 years old, while Una O'Neill was only 18. In 1944, Chaplin married the 18-year-old Una O'Neill, and their marriage, with a 36-year age difference, caused controversy. In 1947, he directed Monsieur Verdoux. In 1949, Limelight was considered his best sound film. In the same year, He was accused of being a communist and became entangled in the McCarthy-era persecution. Dissatisfied with the unjust treatment he received in the United States, he moved to Switzerland. After 2 decades in exile, Charlie Chaplin returned to the United States in 1972 and received his second honorary Academy Award. His return was met with a warm reception, and he received a standing ovation at the Academy Awards ceremony. In 1957, A King in New York was seen as a reflection of his life during that time. In 1967, he directed his final film, A Countess from Hong Kong. In 1977, he was knighted and passed away on Christmas Day in Switzerland at the age of 88. As a comedy master who successfully transitioned from the silent film era to the sound film era, Charlie Chaplin left behind an immeasurable spiritual wealth for future generations. Charlie Chaplin's legendary status was confirmed, but he only received 2 Oscars in his lifetime. In 1929, he was honored with an Oscar for his versatility and genius in acting, writing, directing, and producing the circus. Later, in 1973, he received another honorary Oscar for his contributions to the film industry. Charlie Chaplin's impact on film is immeasurable. His classic films continue to be celebrated and screened worldwide, and his influence on comedy and filmmaking remains enduring. His contributions to the art of cinematic storytelling are considered among the most significant.